Hello everyone and welcome back. Tariffs are back. We got some action in the market. President Trump just imposes 10% tariffs on France, Finland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands and United Kingdom, and they expect to ramp up these tariffs to 25% if we don't have a trade deal. So you can expect some good action during this week. And in this video, I want to give you some information on the playbook. What will happen now that we have some macro information? Maybe it will affect some specific companies, how the market will react, and maybe this is a good timing for you to buy. So maybe when the market will open, you will see some panic movement for European indices, for example. Maybe you will see red all over the place, and those who are not prepared will suffer immensely, and those who are prepared will be able to buy the dip, because if stock crashes, you need to be ready. You will have only a few days to react. Maybe this will create a buying opportunity. So in this video, I want to talk about this, the playbook, what will most likely happen, and we will talk about the track record of this policy. When Trump announces something similar, what happens for stock? So you can take advantage of the situation and you can benefit and you can buy the dip to finally outperform the market. In case this is your first video from this channel, welcome. My name is Christophe Noor. I've been investing in the stock market for almost a decade now and have achieved a performance of roughly 25% per year. And I love these opportunities when you have some macro events, people panic, and then you wait 2 weeks and everything goes back to normal. Because this is exactly what happened last year for the first tariff event. Okay, so now you have some panic, some tweets as always, and I want to start this video saying that it is not the first time we have this situation. And actually, for the first Trump mandate between 2016 and 2020, we had plenty of these opportunities. A lot of threats on Twitter, and then you wait 1 month and stocks are back to all-time highs. This is not the first time, this is the second mandate, so we know what happens here. If you are old enough, you remember the kind of threats the Twitter account had. And yeah, it was an eventful first mandate. We will have an eventful second mandate. So here are a couple of charts that will give you some value. From Bilal here sharing. On January 2025, Trump announced 10% tariffs on Denmark and Europe. On January 2025, Trump hinted 10% tariffs on China, 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, and market crashed. Market crashed, but deep buyers were rewarded. So if you go back in time, beginning of 2025, Trump was just elected, and you had some threats of tariffs for Europe, threats of tariffs for China. Stock crashed because they took this seriously. And eventually, all the people that bought the dip were rewarded handsomely, because at the time, it created a lot of panic, and all the CEOs of big conglomerates, all the bank CEOs, the big management teams, all the CEOs for Home Depot, Walmart, Lowe's, JP Morgan, all the big bankers had meeting with the president, came to the Oval Office, and they just talked him out of imposing these big tariffs. So a lot of words, a lot of tweets, and at the end of the day, the tariffs were paused, he backed down on the offer, and then all the stocks went back up. And maybe this will happen again. Tariffs 2.0, okay? So at the end of the day, if the markets open and we start to have a small correction, it will be a beautiful opportunity to buy the dip. All the corrections like this are very simple to buy actually, because they are self-inflicted, which means the president can give one tweet, reverse back everything, no tariffs whatsoever, and that's it. It's not as if the impact were huge. It's only one tweet and stocks can go back up. So in case there is a drawdown, It's actually a buy the dip opportunity. I want to share something else, another tweet from Adam Koo. Trump has announced a new tariff, so expect markets to panic and sell off on Tuesday as usual. We have seen the same movie many times before. Once again, Trump gives patient and rational investors the opportunity to add shares when everyone panics. That's his playbook. Usually within 2, 3, 4 weeks, market will rebound back to new highs when the deal is done. It's just a lot of words, a lot of tweets, and then the markets will revert back. And actually, the best analysis I have found when it comes to tariffs and playbook is from the Kobeissi letter. If you don't follow them on Twitter, you are missing out. You can look at their charts and their playbook, and actually they shared this recently. President Trump exact tariff playbook, a step-by-step guide. And I want to read it for you so you don't have to, because maybe that's the best piece of research I have read when it comes to tariffs and the playbook, because they have analyzed all the threats, all the tweets, and they have figured out that the same playbook is happening again and again, the exact same one. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And they highly forecast that the same thing will happen again. And I have followed everything. They are right almost all the time. So when they say something about the playbook of tariffs, maybe you can trust them. By the way, if you want to become a better investor and improve your performance, I have a coaching program. It gives you the exact method I've used to generate 25% per year for almost a decade. More on that at the end of the video. So here is what they have written. And by the way, everything is free. So I think you can pay to have more research and their specific stock picks. But most of their research, what I have here, is free. This is lovely. The trade war is back. Moments ago, they announced some new tariffs, and the tariffs will increase to 25% on June 1st and will not be lifted until a deal is reached on Greenland. This deal must be complete and total purchase of Greenland, blah, 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 blah. Before we break down the exact playbook, we must first note that the trade war has become an episodic headwind. Tariffs come back when markets least expect it, and then they slowly fizzle away. This is the product of President Trump. Tariffs playbook. It is done by design. The most recent episode was observed on October 10th. Who remembers this, by the way? Who remembers this? People freak out over the weekend, and then in 1 month, people forget. As always, who remembers the tariff playbook from October 10th? Nobody. When President Trump threatened a 100% tariff on China beginning November 1st, just 21 days out of the announcement. The timing may sound familiar, and that's because it's an integral part of the playbook. Immediately after, the S&P 500 futures extended losses to 3% on the day before closing for the weekend. So as always, history rhymes. President Trump always leads with a punishing and threatening message. It's part of his negotiation tactic. And as always, if you were not invested in the market for the first Trump mandate, you may be in a state of shock. But I was there. I was there for the first Trump mandate. So already vaccinated. And this is always how he works. He tweets a lot. It's very threatening. And then he backs off and makes a deal. And so far it is working. So far, if you look at the deficits from tariffs, so far it's kind of working. So if something is working, you want to repeat this as much as you want. So far it has been his negotiation tactic. Whether you like Trump or you hate Trump, this is how he operates. So we are stock pickers and we can take advantage of this. And it has worked for him. In October with China, it's about rare earth export restrictions, which Trump said they were harming the US. This time around, the announcement has come on a Saturday, and market futures will not be open until Monday night. As Monday is a federal holiday, the market reaction will likely come with a similar emotional sell-off, blah, 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 blah. This is all part of President Trump tariff playbook, which we outline next. Okay, here is the best Playbook, the best research I have read. In 2025, our investment strategy outperformed the market, largely because we saw the swings. A comprehensive step-by-step playbook to navigate the trade war. 1. On Friday, the President Trump posted a critic message signaling tariffs on a specific country or sector. Okay, markets go lower. 2. Later the same day, you have a new threat. 3. On Saturday and Sunday, President Trump repeatedly doubles down on the tariffs. So you want to see danger. 4. Over the weekend, the countries targeted by the new tariffs typically respond publicly or signaling a willingness to negotiate. 5. When futures reopen, stocks futures drop. By the way, my president, Emmanuel Macron, announced some new reciprocating tariffs or something that will take effect shortly. I am aware that on Sunday, European countries will have an exceptional meeting to maybe have some deal or maybe some new tariffs for the US. Yeah, it's a little bit of a fight back and forth, but nothing is really happening so far. 6. On Monday and Tuesday, President Trump continues applying pressure publicly, but investors begin to recognize that the tariffs are not yet live and are still scheduled to take effect weeks later, such as February 1st. 7. By Wednesday on the same week, deep buyers step in and spark a relief rally, but this move often fades and leads to another push lower. This is typically when smart money begins buying. 8. On the following weekend, roughly 1 week later, President Trump posts that discussions are underway, and that he's working toward a deal. Okay, fair enough, as always. 9. On Sunday evening, futures open sharply higher, some optimism, a potential trade deal is announced, as always, but gains fade into the Monday cash market open. 10. After the Monday open, senior administration officials such as Treasury Secretary Bessent appear on live television to reassure investors. By the way, some people are theory crafting what is happening, who speaks on TV. If that's Bessent, markets go up. If that's other people, markets go down. The markets have their favorite people. If somebody is on TV, the markets are happy and the market goes up. If somebody else is on TV, markets hate it and markets go down. And for the moment, Treasury Secretary Bessent is the favorite. And I've listened to a lot of podcasts from Bessent. And so far, the results have been really good. So markets have good reasons of liking this person. Because so far, it makes sense. 11. Over the next 3-4 weeks, various members of the Trump administration continue to tease progress towards a trade agreement. You will see tweets saying that a trade deal is near, and then the trade deal is broken. And then a new trade deal is expected to be announced soon. And then the president will soon announce that he will make an announcement soon. And then an announcement soon and soon. As always, guys, he's just teasing the progress. And teasing the progress again and again without real trade deal. 12. A trade deal is announced and markets hit new record highs. 13. Repeat from step 1. Some new threats will be announced. It's always the same playbook. Of course, it is not a guaranteed roadmap, but in our experience, and I believe them because I have seen them do the work in real time, just about all flare-ups of the trade war since January 2025 has followed roughly the same path. So this time around, the President Trump's plan to acquire Greenland is certainly a bigger ask than China merely scaling back some export controls. Therefore, the playbook may be more drawn out, but it will follow a similar sequence of events. As always, it's not perfectly the same scenario, but the playbook is always the same. A lot of threats, you double down on the threats, you triple down on the threats, some countries reciprocate, and then you tease a deal and then the deal is falling apart, and then you tease the deal for weeks and weeks and weeks, and finally you have some arrangements and nothing has been done. Nothing is changing. And you wait a couple of months, new tariffs, new threats, new double down, triple down threats, the other countries reciprocate some deal, nothing is done. It's always the same thing. Now they say timing is key. President Trump's entire negotiation strategy is centered around timing and pressure. He provides 2-3 weeks of lead time before his tariffs go into effect to allow for a deal to be reached. Trump's goal is for these tariffs to never actually go live. He wants a deal. It also explains why these announcements have increasingly come on the weekend when markets are closed. Yeah, all the big announcements are done on the weekend, so people have time to digest. And he will push the threats to the edge. That's why they work. They are market moving and world changing if they were to ever truly go into effect and stick. I think that President Trump looks at the market. We have a very capitalistic president in the US and pro-business administration. I remember vividly when stocks went down in March 2025, April 2025, Trump said he was not looking at the market at all. And then when stocks recovered and stocks went up, he was very proud to be the president in charge. This is because of him that stocks went up exactly. So I think he's looking at the market every single day. He's looking at the market very diligently, and he wants to be the president with the most amount of gains because of pride. So we have a president in the US with a lot of ego. He wants stocks to go up. He wants the GDP to go up. He will cheat. He will do whatever he can, but he wants the economy to be booming in full force. So of course, he will not make stupid decisions that will hurt the GDP growth. Okay? You have no incentives whatsoever to have a huge fight. And actually, if you want to be invested in this world, you have a president that will favor US companies by a lot. If you want to be invested in Europe or in Asia or in Latin America or Africa or America, I would say the big tailwind right now is in America. You will have tax incentives. You will have a defensive president that will protect you at all costs. Actually, it's not like in China. For China, they were hurting their own companies in 2022, 2023 with more taxes on Chinese tech, okay, for the long term, because they think for the long term. The US is not like this. They think short term, they think re-election, they think in 4-year cycles. But so far it is working because the US has the best companies. You have the best GDP growth, the best companies, the best GDP, the best productivity gains. So far it is working. So they will continue to do this. During the last trade war bout with China, President Trump announced a new trade deal with China on November 1st, the exact day the 100% tariff was supposed to go live. So you will have some action until the last day. Ultimately, those who are able to remain objective, not panic, and follow a process during the trade war bouts are realizing some of the best trading conditions ever. As mentioned, we have outperformed the market by a lot because we know what we are doing. By the way, I don't know if my audience is paying for the Kobasi letter, but that may be a very smart investment to pay them. Give them your capital to have access to their data because they have a great outperformance and I love their research. Maybe one day I will have to pay to have access to their brains. So far, I'm using everything for free. So yeah, I encourage you to maybe try it out if you want, because their strategy is working. In conclusion, this time around, President Trump's plan to acquire Greenland is certainly a bigger ask than in China. Turbulence in markets may be longer lived, but we emphasize our original point. The best traders are capitalizing on the moves in asset prices as a result of trade war headlines. In the future week, this week, in a couple of days, you may see some threats, you may see some tweets bad tweets, a lot of people will maybe panic, but volatility is an opportunity. If you see stocks that you like at a discount, if you see stocks in red, stocks bleeding, but the prospects of the companies are still the same, this is a golden opportunity for you to buy the dip. If you like this content and you want to go deeper, I have a coaching program. In this program, you will learn the strategy I use to outperform the market. You will learn how to find winning opportunities. You will learn how to properly value stocks, when to buy, when to sell, so that you can build a strong portfolio with great companies. Additionally, inside the program, you will have access to an exclusive community of like-minded investors, and you will also have access to my personalized guidance to reach your investing goals. Click the first link in the description to get more information. You will get a short video that explains how everything works, completely for free. No need for your email address, just click the first link in the description and I'll see you on the other side.